Now we sit in the sand holding hands, watch the sunset over the land, and I'm glad that the bright blue water...
Okay, cool. Hey, welcome to the new session of the Permaculture and Community Resilience course. So today I want to talk about sector analysis, which is such a beautiful and amazing and fun tool to figure out where to place your elements on your base map. So basically this goes very much along with zoning, but in analyzing your zones you focus more on the internal energies that are on your land, whereas in the sector analysis, my favorite word, you focus on the external energies. When talking about external energies, we're talking about all the energies that are coming from the outside of your land and that you cannot control. Let's say wind, sun, water, could be a smell or a view, either a pleasant one or a not so pleasant one. So everything, wildlife, for example, is another one. So everything that comes from the outside and that you might want to have on your land or you don't want to have on your land. So with the sector analysis, you kind of figure out where to put the right element, and element meaning, let's say, a shield to get rid of a view or a smell or maybe fire, or it could be a collector, for example, collecting the sun, collecting water. So you kind of want to figure out how to channel those external energies in your land. So where to get all these information from, right, that are coming from the outside of your land. So ideally you do this via observation, which you, as you should know by now, ideally do for 1 year on your land. But if you don't have that time, there are several ways to figure things out. There are sun calculators online. You can check your climate data for your region. You can also ask neighbors or find out whoever was on that land before and just ask around so you get the information. Look at a sector analysis, an example of it that we made for the family roundhouse in Gaia Ashram. In this example, the settlement, or the house in this case, is centered as it's the ground zero. That's why it is the through point of all energies coming from the outside. Those sectors can carry both destructive and beneficial energies. As I mentioned earlier, some you want to collect and some you want to channel to somewhere else. And you can see the rings around the house, which are a simplified example for the zoning of that area. The sector analysis helps you to visualize where to erect shields, deflectors or collectors. Let's brainstorm a little bit. If there is foot traffic, for example, in the east of zone 4, we might want to create a shield to block that energy. So the edge of zone 3 to zone 4 would be ideal for a hedgerow or shield created by a pigeon peas or tapioca, because they require low maintenance and don't need a lot of care, and also they're growing quite fast. Furthermore, due to the fire-prone area, we want to make sure to have a fire break between zone 4 and the road in the north, as well as we want to make sure to plant some fire-resistant and retardant plants. That could be any high-moisture plant, like a banana, for example, or a fire-retardant plant species like aloe vera, or any hardwood tree would also do, as they are less flammable. As you can see in the example, there's a nice view in zone 2 that you might want to keep open and not block with trees or any tall growing plants in zone 1 and 2. Instead of a trellis in your kitchen garden that would very much likely block the nice view, choose some plants, flowers or herbs that aren't growing too tall and even add to the nice view. These are just a few examples on how to place elements after analyzing the sectors going through the land. You can get as creative as possible, but remember that there should be no tree, structure, plant or whatsoever that is not placed according to the sector analysis and the zoning. So one thing you should have in mind when making the sector analysis or looking at the climate data, it's super important to check for extreme temperatures. So you want to really design for extreme, because a disaster usually happens when you're not prepared for it. So you really want to be prepared for a flood, a drought, a fire, whatever is possible that comes from the outside to your land. You want to be prepared for that. So keep in mind, design for extremes. You can get yourself a piece of paper and a pen and start to write down all the external energies that you can think of that are coming through your land. Check the climate data, sun angles and all that stuff. And try to draw a sector analysis. Doesn't have to be in the exact same scheme as our example. You can be very creative on that one. Combine it with your zoning. The last session was about zoning, so if you want to skip to that one first, and then you can place your elements on your base map. And I'm very curious how it's going for you. So if you want to send some examples, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop a message. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, put some comments, or also comment on our website, or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. I'm very happy to hear from you. So see you next time.
Hello, early morning sunshine, shining in through the shutters of my window. Well, I'm glad I can see you again. It's been a long time, my very old friend. Let's sit and talk for a while.